Hi guys, Darth Deuces here, back on the Star Wars The Black Series action figure review. Today looking at a pretty cool one that I think a lot of people have been pretty excited for. I've been looking forward to as well. Of course, it is the Clone Wars Ahsoka, her later outfit as she appeared, I think season 3 onwards. I can't see us ever getting her season 1 and 2 look, which is fine because I don't really like it that much. But yeah, Clone Wars Ahsoka, that can go well with some of the other Clone Wars figures that they've done in the last few years. I'm sure this is a version of the character that a lot of people have been wanting, and she's gotten every version in the Black Series, pretty much except for Clone Wars, aside from that Walmart exclusive Season 7 one, which I never got. And I don't really care to have it too much because it's just a retooled figure. It's not a whole new sculpt. But this figure here is, I believe, head to toe, all new sculpting, which is pretty sweet. And honestly, this figure kind of surprised me. Like I figured like I was gonna like it, but I like it more than I thought I was going to. Honestly, I like Ahsoka. I've definitely grown to like her a lot more than I used to. That's for sure. Since she first came out, she's not my favorite character or anything like that. But yeah, this is a really good one. So taking a look at the head sculpt and the face print, and I think this is one of the things that really impressed me. Is I think it looks really good. The head sculpt and face, they did a good job where it looks realistic enough, but it still really is reminiscent of that animation look. But I think they got the sculpt and the face print pretty much down to a T with this one. I think it looks really good. Her head tendril things with the markings are all pretty clean. She's got the little beads there, which is nice, and this side's taken off, which is really cool. The gold here around the forehead and the sides of her head is really cleanly done. The white markings look really sharp and clean, and the face printing for the eyes and the lips I think look really good. I'm very happy with this head sculpt in this face. I think it looks really good. I'm very happy. The rest of the figure is honestly kind of simple. Really does recreate the Clone Wars look pretty good, but there's some nice details. Like she's got this little gold choker or like necklace around her neck there, which is cool. You got the open back top there. The torso is pretty simple, but it gets the job done. And she's got like the braces, or like the straps on the arms with the bracers on the forearms there. The belt, again, pretty simple. Could do for a black wash if I was going to be really nitpicky, but you do have some nice painted detail for the buckle and these little details there, as well as the detailing on the little piece here. I think it's really nice. They also went with plastic for the lower like skirt as opposed to soft goods, which is kind of a double-edged sword. It is split on the sides, and it does move out of the way of articulation and all that. And I would say aesthetically, it definitely looks better than soft goods. But the problem with them being plastic is that if you have them in a dynamic pose for too long, it'll warp them to be stuck in like this position. So if you want to have them back to just a neutral standing pose, you're gonna have to heat it up to get it to go back into position. Not a big deal or anything, and some people probably don't mind that. I just find it's a little annoying. But the pants look good with like the diamond like open pattern there, looks good. The boots, nice painted buckles there, and yeah, there's not too much else to say really. It's not a super complex figure. But it's effective in what it's trying to do. So yeah, looks good. Pretty happy with it. Articulation wise, there is a dumbbell joint at the base of the head as well as the base of the neck, but because of these head tendrils, you're not going to get a lot of head movement. So you can look side to side a bit, slight pivot. You can kind of get a bit of pivot, but you're not going to get much up. You can't really get any down. It just is what it is. I figure that going in, so it doesn't bother me that much. She actually does have butterfly joints. They don't move too much because just Black Series butterfly joints just don't move that much, but there is some movement there. Hinges at the shoulders. They actually don't really go further quite to 90, which is a bit interesting. And they rotate though. Single hinges at the elbows, move a bit past 90. Then she has swivels at the wrists as well as an up and down hinge at both wrists. One wrist is sculpted in a normal grip hand. The other is more of like this open, almost force gesturing hand, which I'll show a bit more when I go over the accessories, but it's a bit awkward for the left hand. She can hold a lightsaber in this hand, but it's a lot more tricky to get her to hold it securely because of this more open sculpt. Usually I'm a fan of them doing hands like this on Jedi characters, but for a character that's supposed to be dual wielding lightsabers, it's a little strange, I'll be honest. It's not the worst in the world. You get a ball joint at the waist there. She actually goes back quite a bit, crunches forward just a little, quite a bit of pivot, and then rotation. Hip joints, they're the new style hip joints. They go out quite far, kick forward a good amount. They do have a bit of rotation there because of the new way they're cutting the hip joints to remove the thigh swivel. Single hinges at the knees that go a bit past 90. Swivel cut at the boot, which I feel is kind of pointless with the swivel cut being right at the joint there, but it is there if you need to use that piece of articulation. Then hinges at the ankles that don't really go up because of the sculpt of the boot. They do go down. They're actually kind of tight, and then an ankle rocker for a pivot. So she's got pretty good articulation. There may be some minor limitations here and there, but I don't know. I've been able to get most of the poses that I've been wanting to get out of her. So yeah, I think she poses pretty good. In terms of accessories, if I can get her to stand, there we go. She just comes with her two lightsabers. You get the standard sized lightsaber with the green blade there. Nice silver painted hilt with some black detailing. And then you also get her Shoto blade, the shorter one. Again, green blade with the silver and then a little bit of black paint. The one thing I will say about the Shoto, however, is that in the show, her Shoto lightsaber, the blade is actually a lot more of a yellowish green, almost yellow. And here they just made it the same color green as the standard lightsaber. They are supposed to be different colors. So I kind of wish they would have done that. It's not a huge deal or anything, but yeah, it's a small inaccuracy if that is something that would bug you. But she does, in the right hand, grips the lightsabers nice and securely. Like I said, in the left, you do kind of have to fool around with it a bit, kind of get it. You can find kind of these sweet spots where she will kind of hold the sabers, but it's a bit trickier and it's a lot easier to bump them out of her hand on the left side. But at least she can hold them at all. I was almost worried maybe she wouldn't even be able to hold it at all, but she can. But it is kind of tricky getting her to hold it properly in the left hand. You can take the blades out of the saber hilts and port them on her belt. So I'll do that real quick. The pegs are pretty big for some reason. I don't know why, but they go on. It can be a little fiddly getting them on. I find the Shoto is harder to get on than the main saber, but I got them on there and they go on securely. Like they're not going to fall off or anything, so that's cool too. And that's pretty much it for the figure itself. I guess now I'll just do some comparisons. So I guess first off, another figure that uses this look is they have done it in 3 3/4 inch. It was originally released in TVC in 2012. It got a Black Series. This is the Black Series reissue from, I don't even know, 2015, 2016. I can't remember. And then it got re-released again in the Vintage Collection with face print. So this one does not have face print. But this figure's still pretty cool. This one does use the soft goods for the skirt. They actually put a lot more sculpted detail into the 3 1/4 inch one. She got all these like sculpted lines and detailing on the top there, and on the belt has a lot more sculpted detailing and pouches and whatnot as well, which I think is kind of interesting. But it's cool because it makes them a bit different. The colors are a little different too, but they're both pretty solid figures. But this one has some dated articulation. This one's got most of the modern stuff. And I do think I like this one better in terms of look as well. But the 3 1/4 one still is not a bad one. Then with some other Black Series releases of Ahsoka, here is the first release of the Rebels Ahsoka, based on animation as well. And then here is the Mandalorian / Ahsoka series, Ahsoka. And I think these two are both pretty good figures. They both are neck and neck. It basically comes down to which look do you prefer. Most people probably Clone More than one, but there was probably some people who weren't as really exposed to Ahsoka until the show, so they might prefer the show Ahsoka. They're both pretty good figures. I'm not a big fan of this Rebels one. Sculpt-wise, it looks nice. This is the one that doesn't have the face print on it, so the face isn't too great. But the articulation I don't love on this figure. She couldn't hold her sabers very well. The feet are really small and she's a pain to stand. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Rebels one, unfortunately. It'd be nice if they redid this figure, but I doubt that's going to happen. Oops. And then lastly, you got to put her alongside her master, Anakin. This is the Clone Wars one that was, I believe, Target exclusive in the States and exclusive to Toys R Us in Canada a couple of years ago now. I think this figure's a couple of years old. It's kind of crazy, but I think these guys look really great together. I'm definitely going to be displaying them together on the shelf. Yeah, really happy with this. So overall, I think Clone Wars Ahsoka is a really good release from Hasbro and the Black Series line. I think the sculpt, face print, and most of the paint that is there, I think is really well done. Articulation's good. She comes with her lightsabers. That's pretty much what I expected her to come with, accessory-wise. Can't think of much else. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this release. It's probably my favorite Ahsoka Black Series figure they've done so far. So if you're a fan of the character, and especially if you're a fan of the Clone Wars, I think this is definitely a must get. Definite recommend from me. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I'll see you all next video. May the Force be with you.